This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News-free Dixie.
News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
We All Be is under hell on the one and only legendary Baba Dick Gregory. He's going to tell us some very important information on this day, April 4th, 2017, which marks the 49th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a dear friend of Baba Gregory. We are actually at the crime scene, so to speak, in Memphis, Tennessee. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. I just want to thank you. It was nice seeing your mother last time. And just let me say that it'd be 1,000 years or longer before people will know who you are.
Yes, sir.
Somewhere, you're not only telling the truth and put people on to tell the truth, but you're also bucking systems. The whole mighty system of America, of Britain, of the whole white world, not including the black folks that's involved in a lot of it. So I just want to say to you, thank you. You bucking these systems, NBC, CBS, ABC, the papers, it has billions of dollars of research, not to get the truth, but to cover up the truth. And so I just say thank you for being here on this planet, because there's people coming behind you that will have the truth, that don't have to be validated by the super powerful rich. And so as I sit here, it is the 49th year that King was assassinated. But more than that, it's leading into the 50th year. And so people getting ready for the celebration. Some with the truth, but many of them with lies. Not because they know it, it's the people that gave it to them, they trusted it. And so I just say thank God that King was here. Thank you, God, that the children, you realize what a disaster that is? To have one of the famous names in the history of the planet be your father. And people come to you with bits of information, and you have to listen. But again, let me just say that 49 years ago, today, at 5:03 Central Standard Time, the shot rang out. That was interesting to me because I was in California on my way to speak at a college. And here's what I heard. Bulletin, Martin Luther King had been shot by a white man. We have nothing else. Now, the person was, I said, would you pull over for a minute? Why would anybody with no information say King was shot by a white man? We have no information. Well, you have to have some information if you're going to say shot by a white man when you don't know. Well, I will always believe that what you're seeing happening now with this last election, that was supposed to happen then. They was hoping that black folks would ride and burn, and the police would move in, and the world would look around and see America burning, that you put a piece of paper on a fire. But black folks didn't do that. the stunness, the who he was, took over the whole world. And it didn't happen. So then they had to sit and said, okay, now what's plan two? It has nothing to do with civil rights. It happened to do with that big planet up there. And for those of you that's listening, if you can, or if you know somebody that can Google this, you will find out that this been going on before 1930. They saw this thing circling planet Earth once a year, and now it's circling every 24 hours. They don't know when it's going to hit, but you all can Google that. The other thing that they worried about is the moon program. That was a fake. You know, that never happened. If you stop and think about Russia with all their technology they got, how come they haven't landed on the moon? And so, consequently, in the church you hear before you can read, wherever two or more gather in my name, I'm in the midst of that. Now, all of y'all ought to go check that. Don't take nobody's word for it. It didn't say what two or more people gather in my name. And after you read it, and before you read it again, Google the two suns, S-U-N, that 4 months ago appeared over California and still there. A third sun, S-U-N, appeared over China. Where two or more gather in my name, I'm in the midst of it. That's those two suns. And the third one over China. And that's what we fronted the space program for. That's what Donald Trump's about. I don't know if he know it or not. I did a book 52 years ago called The Shadow That Scared Me. I said, I don't know who the shadow is, but all of us will know it soon. When you see Donald Trump in the red tie, that's him. When you see him in any other tie, that's the clone. Now, whether he knows that or not, they needed something after killing up King. Didn't work to do what they wanted it to do. So now Donald Trump, I doubt if he even knows. But the American people is equally at fault. I mean, if I ran to be a garbage collector anywhere in America, and they gave me the job, first I'd have to bring my tax return in. Trump running for president, he don't have to bring his in, and we here listening on such punks and thugs and hoodlums that we don't even rise up until if he even had to pay his tax, I'm not going to pay mine. Had Obama done that, the world wouldn't have heard about it. So we walk through this myth, and they take the racism, the sexism, the ungodliness in a country that think you so good. You're not godliness. You're not spiritual. That's why when you go to church, you have to have music, so you can get in the mood to move, because what they giving you don't put you in a mood. So now let's go back and look at this. Trump is supposed to be a billionaire. He ain't got no money. You know. Somewhere when you stop and think about, and then we'll review kings. We were here billions of years before there was any white folks. So the Bible, which is kind of strange, God made the moon, the sun, the stars, and he need to communicate with another human being. When people say God is good, I say, why wouldn't he be? What's that about? That's like saying the devil is bad. Huh? What have you ever known to prove to you that that universal God is not good? So why you got to say it? Huh? Like a welfare mother gonna validate one of the richest people in the world. They don't need to be validated. So why you doing it? Because somebody wrote some stuff and told you you had to do it. And so when you stop and think about it, that day, a few hours from right now while we taping, King never said anything on TV about white folks, about racism, that he's had to change it when he's off TV. The same thing he said on television and radio, he said it when there was no cameras there. So we look at today, Disneyland, how many people, especially black people, carry their children to Disneyland to see a rat, but have never been to King's grave or King's tomb. And had he not died, we wouldn't be welcome there. And let me just tell you, man, who we talking about? There's a lot of people that laid their life down to fight and change a corrupt society, a corrupt system. What makes King different, he took on the most corrupt country in the history of the planet with no guns. And the rest of the people and all these stuff you see in the history of the planet didn't have no nuclear bombs. They had no hydrogen bombs. He went out there and took the mightiest nation in the history of the planet with all kinds of technology, stuff that we have never heard of. If we heard of it, we wouldn't believe it. And brought them to their knees. I mean, let me say this twice. They're all sitting around now talking about King and what we don't say because of a white racist system that killed him, didn't tell us to say it. He took the mightiest nation in the history of planet Earth and brought it to his knees with no gun, with no trash talking. That's what we talking about. A year from today, it would be the 50th year that this happened. And so when we look at the importance of this day, what they thought they was killing, they brought it to life worldwide and didn't stop anything. And so as we sit here today and discuss 49 years of this tragedy, in one more year, 50 years. I don't know why we celebrate, I know why we celebrate anniversaries and everything. 10th anniversary. And Lord, wait till it get to be the 100th anniversary. And so I just say thank you, Dr. King. Thank your family. Thank everything that created you, that caused you to take this on. Brilliant mind, brilliant speaker. You could have died a billionaire. You could have commanded records be made, and people would have bought them. If someone had just your left shoe 100 years from now, it would be worth millions. 1,000 years from now, it would be worth trillions. Dr. King. So as we move into the day, let's kind of look back. The March on Washington. Black folk came dressed up, man. New shoes, new outfits. Why? It's the first time all black folks have been invited to the mightiest capital in the history of the planet. Oh, celebrities could come. Football teams could come to the White House. But never had someone said, not just to black folks, but you would have thought he was talking to black folks. Oh, we dressed up, man. Came in on trains. Black folks flew in from all over the world, man, on private planes. The March on Washington, I brought my sons. No hotel, you couldn't get a hotel within a 40-mile radius. Buses had to park down Philadelphia. There was no place to park. 80% of people just slept in the park. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I got up, left the hotel, and I said, I'm gonna take you on a little walk. And we went where the masses was gathering. And I said, did you smell any reefer? Did you see anybody with cocaine in their beard? You think they're not here? There's something that came over this that I don't have an appetite for. I haven't quit nothing. I don't have an appetite for it. There's something going on today that have never happened before. Nobody was talking loud. Nobody was arguing. Dr. King, we thank you. A big argument started why this government do not count people that come to a rally now. Because they didn't understand what they was looking at. That day, only 2 people got arrested. No blacks. 2 people. Some white guy on 13th and U called in a bomb report. And he's so dumb and ignorant, they kept him on the phone talking to him until the cops got there to arrest him. The other one was an Asian guy selling hot dogs without a license. That's all, nothing else. So when we got information of the count from satellite, we put it out there. 1.9 million black men, the women told not to come. Dick Kennedy, who's supposed to be our friend, he had 7 divisions of troops around the DC area. Why? Because there were white folks and even black folks that didn't believe you could treat someone the way black folks had been treated and they could come together peacefully. That was King's spirit before he was dead. People came in with their children, high-heel shoes, new clothes on. They didn't come here to party. They come here to say thank you, God. Those people that was alive then, they got to see something. That even police that didn't know about the conspiracy was worried about something happening. King knew things was going wrong for his safety. He was preparing for the Poor People's March. And some Southern senators, dogs, thugs, hoodlums, unspiritual. I wish when all this ends, your families could be there to see where you are. Wherever the mafia is, wherever all the thugs and hoodlums and pimps and hustlers are, that's where you're going to be. Me too. Me too. Every time I get on a plane and make a trip and pay taxes, I'm funding this filth. The difference was, thank you God, you blessed me to know I'm part of it. Most of y'all don't know. A year from the 50th year of his murder, and most of you still haven't found out who you are and what you're part of. And so, as that day approached, King didn't have time because he was planning for the March on Washington to deal with poverty. And somebody said, we got to stop it. Thank you, Dr. King. Your family. I got 10 children, man. Been married 58 years. I know what that's like. To be loved, a special love by your family, by your friends. Taking on the mightiest nation. They got nuclear bombs, man. America, Christian society, haven't used flamethrowers to go and burn somebody else up, and you think you're part of some Christian something? Well, maybe you are. Maybe that's what Christian means. Maybe that's what it means. And so today we sitting here in Memphis. No hatred. See, the king defied everything I believed in. John Wayne, them was my heroes. I mean, long before the Civil Rights Movement. They said, if they won't listen to you and listen to what you believe in, kill them. John Wayne said, don't. King said, don't. That's when my life started changing. After King, I got rid of my .357 Magnum. If someone would have told me when I was growing up, pow, pow, I didn't have no gun, so I shot you with my fingers, pow, pow, pow. Would have told me back then that one day I'd sit in a room with you and say to you, I'd rather be killed by someone than kill someone. Think about that. That's a hell of a statement, man. When I was a little boy, whenever I heard a siren, I prayed for the cops that was in it, the firefighters that was in it. When I was a child, I wanted what many children want, a fire truck for Christmas. Not a police car, and I was too young to know what that was about. Something about a spirit. It tells you what's right and wrong. My mother told me Santa Claus was a white man, and she was buying the toys. I mean, think about that, man. And so, as I watched that day approach, and black folks pro and con, why he don't need to be here, oh man, go to hell. And white folks and everybody on this planet benefited by it because all the legislation that marched with that leadership was able to push through. Able to push through. They didn't put the word Negro on it, so it meant for everybody. King didn't mean that. It wasn't that he didn't want it. His mission was to liberate these white folks, these black folks. And the best thing ever happened for white folks in America was King in that legislation. When I look at the early days of aviation, a black woman couldn't be a stewardess on a plane. A black person couldn't fly the plane. And back in those days, before King and the laws, a white woman, the only thing she could do at the airport was be a stewardess. But she had to look like something off the cover of Playboy magazine. A sex symbol. Today, as we come to honor his life, 49 years, he was snatched away from us. But when I get on a plane today, you don't have to look like a sex symbol to be a stewardess on a plane. Like you used to before this movement. Anytime you get on a plane now and see an old, short, fat, unattractive stewardess, we got her that job, not her brother, not her daddy, not her mother, not the U.S. military. We got her that job. And if black folks understand who you are, look at black folks, man. Never before in the history of planet Earth had a slave with all the brutality and viciousness, because to own another human being, you got to be below the lowest. I don't want to say animals, because animals have never reached that level. Thank you, Mr. King. Somewhere, this brother, on this 49th day, who he was, how things have changed. What they hiding is there something circling this planet. And in the 30s, it was circling planet Earth. Once a year. Today it's circling the planet every 24 hours. And these white degenerates with money and power think they not. It ain't no such thing as you can rape a woman a little bit. There is no such thing as you can be, you're not as bad as Hitler. Bad is bad. A little bit of rape ends up with a child that grows up. Feet was like that. Child grows up size 15, 16 shoes. But those of you sitting there won't talk about a little bit, because you know there's no such thing as a little bit. And so today, I'm happy that I was put on this planet. I didn't come from my mother, I came through her. Thank you, Dr. King. On this day, Let's look at to this day. There was a group of thugs, gangs here, called the Invaders. They was part of it. Invaders. They was the one that started the ride that forced King to come back here. On the way back, Hoover released a tape, FBI director. Said to my good, honorable black folks in Memphis, King say, don't do as he do. Do as I tell you to do. This is on the tape that Hoover released. So he came back. Why? Something happened. Accident. Sanitation workers was upset. There was a garbage collector that was killed in the garbage truck. We now know that was planned. So they had demonstrations. The sign was, I am a man. You don't determine that. The universal God determines that. And so one rally led to another, then it got King's attention. So, well, I can't participate right now because I'm planning this huge march. And we're going to stay on the White House. We're not leaving. What? The mightiest nation in the world, the dirtiest, pimp, ungodly nation in the world, you gonna say, I'm coming to your house and I'm not leaving. Wow. Somewhere. King knew what he was up against. I didn't. Most folks around the world didn't. So now he's coming back. Some of the white senators in Congress from the North, I imagine some from the South, they wouldn't say it, knew what King was doing, the biggest thing that had ever happened. And somewhere, King came, was paying, and they shot him. Now let's lead up to the shooting. The first time in the history, who was #2 man, stepped down and became the police chief and fire director for the city of Memphis. Never heard of. There was a meeting held and said, King, the dirty son of a, is going to be killed in 2 days. And to all you responders that will get the call, we know what time he's going to be shot. We know y'all will respond to it. You can't take him but one hospital at St. Joseph's. And we'll be waiting to welcome you. Let's go back to a few minutes before that. The shot rang out. He was on the balcony. There was people pointing on the balcony. They was pointing the wrong way, all black folks. And the question y'all have to say every time you see that pictures, how'd they know it wasn't going to be another shot? It's very important. How'd they know? King's on the ground. There's nobody there with him. Nobody saying, "Oh, you all right, Doc?" So who was that group? Why did King have to come back? He just had that one day. A riot broke out. The invaders throwing bricks at the cops. And they was worried. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this brother. Somewhere, I, with a wife and a family, I became a real soldier. Not after he was, before he was king, just sitting there listening and watching him and hearing him smile with that childlike smile. Ain't too many soldiers can do that. He did. Old folks came to America from the South. They was what the role the women played. Men worked all week. They showed up on the weekend. There wouldn't have been a movement had the women not been able to carry that torch every day. Thank you, Dr. King. Somewhere. I think about him, my oxygen leave, I get sleepy, even when I'm talking to children about it. When I'm talking to my children about it. Today, I'm excited. Can't wait till next year when more truth will have come out. And you, my brother, out there all alone. The New York Times and them come out, and Jet Magazine come in. They got all the information that it needs to protect you, Dr. King. But the people in high up see to it you'll never be able to use it. 2 days before King was assassinated, the first responders was told, we're gonna kill that nigga. But when he bring him to this one hospital, only hospital you can take him to, if he's not dead, kill the nigga. And he wasn't dead. Doctors spit on him. And then they smothered him to death in the hospital. Smothered him to death. Hospital. Now this story is not being told for you to get mad. What were you punks when we was marching? When old women, handful of white folks, was out there marching every day. When the world was not aware of what we was going through. When King walked out his door, he didn't know if the bullet was going to hit him. The bomb was going to blow the house up. And you punks sitting there now, talking your talk. And the weird part, y'all sticking making plans. It's out of your hands. The one thing the Jews knew that we didn't know, they knew they wasn't part of Hitler's Nazi Germany. Black folks recommend their children go to war because they can't find a job. What kind of Christian, what kind of religious person are you? You find out. And if you can, look up Orson Welles. Had a voice, a rhythm. No TV, he did a show called The Day the World Came to an End. It scared people so bad they started committing suicide, killing their families. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. He started watching it in 1930. Somewhere. Dr. King. Took on vicious white hatred. There's some black folks hating him too. But he kept going. You know there was universal love in his heart because certain things was put in place. The Montgomery Improvement Association, improvement. That movement came so big, it went all over the world. And people all over the world started sending millions of dollars to the Montgomery Improvement Association. And them folks knew if they put that money in them banks, they would never be told it was there. If anybody questioned them, they had the Southern press, the cops, and business people. They said, no, this is a lie. But what they wasn't ready for, at the height of Reconstruction, when black folks couldn't get a job, you slave, you used to work for me, I owned you. So, the Montgomery Improvement Association got so big and so famous that millions of dollars came in from all over the world. They said, we can't put this money in Southern banks. They'll say we lying. Well, during the railroad, they decided that white folks is making enough money now they can afford first class train ride. First class. Take a shower, meal cooked fresh, sleep in beds. And so that happened. Before that, the super rich would hook their train onto freight trains or whatever. And then you look at World War II. 5 white nations fighting it, so what made it a world war? It was a food wipeout to control the population. They called it useless eaters. That's what's going on now. That's what Trump is about. He's beyond an idiot, beyond a hoodlum, beyond a thug. He just takes the role and works it so you will never have time to talk about this big planet. It's getting ready to get wiped out. Y'all will be debating, am I sick, am I crazy? Crazy people know stuff. So I say to you, have fun and have some quick, because recess is just about over. The same ear that creator vowed years ago, still there, haven't changed. The mind functions same way. Thank you, Dr. King. This is what we're talking about. So what did he do with the money coming in? He said to the black folks and the white folks who sent in money, don't worry about it. Thank you, Dr. King. And you can send that money for a simple reason. When the Pullman porters joined the unions and got to be Pullman porters on trains, most of them died millionaires. 99% of them children went to college and finished. Why? So we sit here now and think about the court system and the cops, not for your benefit, but you're gonna pay for it. Proof that there is a God, that God works. You do 50%, I'll do the rest. You do 10%, I'll do the rest. They worked out when those checks would come in here. The railroad had created some awesome jobs for black folks because they couldn't go to a restaurant, they couldn't sleep in a hotel, so they created a whole new industry where they go into community and pay black folks to take these folks in that's putting this railroad together. And they did. They did. And now black folks are still arguing about some bullshit. So when the Pope was here, not too long ago, he had sciatica so bad, he couldn't hardly walk across the street. Thank you, Dr. King. That was the reason that nothing happened like they thought it would. Because if you go back, it's called the mother tongue. Men's not important. And women, the children didn't come from you, they came through you. And they said, look, let's send this money that people send you. Give it to them Pullman porters to take up north and put it in the bank. And millions of dollars came in. And they gave it to the people to put in the banks. Thank you, Dr. King. This is what it's about. Whew. So somewhere today, and then I hear people say, well, how come we can't be like the Jews? The Jews were set free from slavery by the Jews. By the Jews. Not the National Guard, not their mother or father, by the Jews. The problem that bothers me about that story is when God said to the Jews 9,000 years ago, I'll free you. But you have to put the blood on the door, and nobody asked some simple questions. The God that made the sun, the moon, the grass, everything, if you don't put blood on the door, I don't know you there. But God, come on now. You made the sun. That's where the trickery starts. They had to use everything they could to stop this brother. And when none of it worked, they killed him. They killed him. And so somewhere, when you stop and think about the universal God, a cat turned the corner and see a dog, it shape shifts. You black folk didn't see nothing? A cat can see something that you can't see? And you're supposed to be supreme to animals? Could a real God make that mistake? No. So somewhere, you come along, other people come along, social network comes along, and now we know who you are. You received less than 50 years since he was killed. You can control us. I love for several reasons. When I was a little boy, growing up, long time before I realized that there was a king coming to liberate me. I didn't know his name, didn't know when he was coming. But I look at Dr. King and realize that there'd never been a war going on that I had to fight in. And when it came, I said, oh God, I wish I could be in your camp when the mess starts. Why? Black folks made me. I don't know about show business when I started out. They said, when I was making $5 a night, 3 nights a week with a wife and a family, I realized then I was somebody. Why? God made gorillas, dogs, animals. And so I knew by watching cowboy movies, man, that I was somebody. I couldn't identify with no white folks until the cowboy movies. You can drive a Rolls Royce, but my car don't look like yours. Welfare's people's car don't look like yours. So I had 2 things going for me. I'm born on October the 12th, 1932. Columbus' birthday. So I thought the schools was out on October because of me. Got a right to dream because of me. Thank you, Dr. King. And then the cowboy. Man, I fell in love with his cowboy. Wasn't no black cowboys. That racist, thuggish, sexist, pimp cowboy. And then I realized, that's me, man. I never seen a cowboy in a tavern with a woman. Never seen him with a different horse every day. I was the cowboy. He was the cowboy. Every day, something happened to affect my life because I knew this feeling I had in me. I did things in track that no black person had ever done. I said, wow. First black to win a cross-country championship after I ran the fastest mile in the history that year and didn't get credit for it because I was in the all-Negro meeting. I walked out crying. We had a rally. I hid behind the NAACP. I said, my record gonna count. And it didn't. So we organized with the leadership of Mr. Wheeler, NAACP, and shut the 3 Negro colleges down. And white boys got scared. They're a bunch of communists, they're a bunch of this. So I went back and told them we're going to extend it. He said, why? I got the power. People's out there doing things, y'all can't stop it. So then they made a deal. They said, suppose we integrate sports. Well, I was as dumb as they was. I didn't realize you could legalize cross country in sports, but you couldn't understand. You could not legalize football, basketball, soccer, tennis. So come up to the spring meet, first time I saw white folks with the clock, white folks with the flags. And then somebody said, well, if you're going to integrate football, you got to integrate everything. And they did. Thank you, Dr. King. Somewhere, you have helped me understand who I am. The cowboy. Let me know that everything I look at that poor, ignorant, redneck cowboy, I look and see it when I look in the mirror. They don't wear no new shoes every day, neither did I. They didn't have no new horse every day, neither did I. But I could identify with that white boy. Dr. King. And so today, sitting here in Memphis, a few hours from when they killed him, thank you, Dr. King. So there's a group here called the Invaders, gang group. Oh, you do your research. Big people gave him money. There's a good article out, you can Google, called The Making of Jeff Ford. A black thug, couldn't read or write. But everybody's scared of him at that time. Thank you, Dr. King. So he was developed by the evil folks. But as we marched, we had to turn down the street. And that's where I learned that the police was going to push the foreign press out the way. And they was going to kill us one by one. Okay. Where you going? I'm going with them. Why? I'm ready to die. What a feeling. Thank you, Dr. King. Keep nodding off because I don't want to believe that this is not a dream. I'm feeling oxygen leaving my body, man. But I know it is a dream. I know the world will never be the same because of what happened in this country, in this city. Whew. One of the great tennis players of all time, black. Virginia wasn't nothing integrated then, but somebody said, you know, Dick Gregory, ran, they didn't give him his record. So all the sports is integrated. That's why they sent him to St. Louis where he could play tennis.
Off the Ash.
Off the Ash.
Wow. To the same high school you went to, on Sumner?
Huh?
Sumner High School, the same one you went to?
Yeah. And so again, this day, children, 10, never had a bodyguard.
Mm.
10, always been listed in the phone book.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the dirtiest, nasty calls you could get. Didn't know who answered the phone.
Mm.
It's that nigga, Dick Gregory, the comic. Yep. You his daughter, son. Yep. You know, the problem getting them. I didn't hire them from nothing. Well, tell your mother I'd like to come there and tear her clothes off and do this too and do that. She said my dad would too. They learn to live with it and know that's part of the price you pay when you attack evilness. King did something that few people did. He didn't let them bring out the evilness that would be in him because of his smile, his niceness. So we're here to tell the story. I knew a part, not just a celebrity, I stayed with the fight. People ask me now, you think other celebrities and athletes? No. Liberation ain't built on a game. America's won every war they ever been in. And they didn't do it with athletes or entertainers. And so that's where we are. On this day, this day, I woke up this morning and looked up at the sun and saw his face. Last night, before I went to bed, I looked up at the moon and saw his face. And then I realized that we just look with a purity, you see your own face. When you understand what you're saying, what God said, a vibration. The 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not kill. It don't say except if a white, nasty, incel nation tell you to kill. Thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not kill. So, be still and listen and know that I am God. If you get away from the crap, that word say be still and listen. You be still and know that I am God. It's not God telling you. God don't need to be validated by you. When you say that, the brain hears you say and know that I am God. That's how we learn the old ABCs, kept repeating over and over and over. And so there's young folks out here now. They listen to stuff and they feel it. And you're very instrumental. I go all over the world and I hear people say, Brother Ron, they love you, but they don't know what to say. The people that love King, they just couldn't pick up the phone and call him or go somewhere, meet him. But I feel it in the streets, man, about you, about all them other folks that use that. You don't have to. God will sit here to die, for if you believe the story.
Right.
One of my granddaughters asked me one day, she's 4 years old, she said, is God smart? I said, they say he is. And then I shut up to hear what else he gonna say. She said, I don't believe God is smart. I still don't say that. So if he was smart, he didn't need to send his son down to die for our sins. All he had to do was kill the devil. It's just one of them. His children. Children. Kill the devil. Not in America. We can't name a school after Jesus, but we name it after the devil. The Duke University Blue Devils. They name schools after demon deacons and all of that. The number one costume seller in America is devil outfits for your children. Devil outfits. And it take us this long, let me, to wake up and realize how filthy this nation is. I had to call my wife 5 years ago and apologize for raping her. She said, what do you mean? I said, in this sick, insane system, I didn't know if I'm married to you and you said no, it means no. I didn't know if a prostitute's running down the street naked, that don't give me the right to attack her and have sex with her. And so when we look now and think about what one man with courage is the majority. God, look what he left. Died. We thought dinner was over. Dinner is just being served. So that's where we are today. And somewhere, what a thrill was just to be on the planet at the same time Doc was here, let alone know him.
Sure.
And so now the world, mightiest nation world, will never tell these stories. Little dude like you, man, will tell that the mighty networks. Kennedy didn't die in Dallas. He was a vegetable. Died April of '71 on the Nassau Islands. What? NBC, CBS, ABC, none of them told you. Walter Cronkite didn't tell you. And so when you look at the universal God, it don't need you. Huh? He chooses you to go out there. Turn on TV once they got it. People dressed in wardrobes, outfits. People there to make sure that little thing here is right. But the chemical you use to make it look right kill you. God, universal, made you with 7 holes in the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes in the body. And I put earrings in my ear like most women do. Punch a hole in something God made. But you see somebody punching a hole in your car, you want to get a gun and shoot them. Go to the mean jails, man, where the worst people on the planet are in them jails. And you can hear God arguing with them like you hear mothers and fathers arguing and yelling at their children. Think about that. Think about that. And so, on this day, when we come back again, I'll show you the document that the federal government sent out to kill King with Army intelligence. And they moved him into Memphis on March 28th and took him out April the 12th. Before anybody even knew there was going to be a strike. That's why you know there wasn't no garbage strike. The guys sit back in the back of the truck where they throw the garbage in. And somebody pushed the button on and the guy died. And that gave them the right to have. James all right? Come on, y'all. James all right? Missouri. Thousands, hundreds of times he was arrested. He never committed a crime that they hadn't apprehended him within 3 hours. Here they call it the crime of the century. And police couldn't catch him. Somewhere. Now, let me say to you who's looking, especially you haters. I would say I used to hate. I used to hate dogs. Those of you listen, especially the ones that cannot believe this great America, I tell you, I dare you to do something. Every day at 12 noon, starting tomorrow, so you don't have to remember. He was shot at 5:53. Just make it 6 o'clock. And at 12 noon, every day, all over the world, just pray to God that the truth will come out. Then you'll see your power. You ain't asking the church or the Baptists or the Catholics. I didn't think anything was wrong with the electric chair, because when I go to movies and somebody was getting the electric chair, it was the priest leading them. How could I believe anything's wrong with that? So, on this King Day, the whole town is guilty. Because we paid for it. Time you get a soda pop, time you get milk, you pay for it. And you pay for what America's doing with your tax money. And all of y'all who thought Hillary was the lesser of the two evils, anytime you stoop to vote for the lesser, that's because you evil. You sing all your church songs, all your stuff. You're evil. And then caught up with us. They got a new group of kids that come down from the universe called the Indigo Children. God said, I sent y'all down here to heal the planet, and you joined it. Well, I got something you can't touch. I got something you cannot touch. And so as I leave you and say, born St. Louis, Missouri, poor, ignorant, scared, didn't look the way I thought I should look. And then one day, my mother said to us, you're not poor, you just busted. Poor is a mental condition. To be busted is a temporary situation. And my life changed. How many millionaires messed up in their head, save money, spend money? We used to call them misers. Because the mental condition, my poor mother. She's an entrepreneur, I didn't know her. She cooked stuff at home and take it out to Ford plants, where they, big restaurants, and open up them baskets and feed them. I'd be so embarrassed and didn't realize mom's an entrepreneur. A woman. A woman. So I'm going to say this again. 12 noon every day, anywhere you are on the planet. Pray that the truth will come out about who was involved in killing King. And put on your seatbelt when you find how many black folks from Memphis was involved. Okay. And so, the movement. I remember where I was It was in California. Bulletin, bulletin, bulletin. Martin Luther King had been shot in Memphis by a white man. And I told the young lady that was driving me to the car, I said, would you pull over for a minute? She said, you want to listen to it? No, I heard it. I want to say a prayer that he dies. She said, what'd you say? I said, a prayer that he dies. It don't mean nothing till you die. Ask George Wallace. When they shot him, had he died, schools and highways and bridges would have been named after him. People don't see you as this. If Jesus was got off the cross and been wounded and limp for the rest of it, wouldn't nobody have him up in the house. Matter of fact, had Jesus been what society called ugly, with a big nose and a club foot and bumps all over his face, and not look like a sex symbol, how many people had him in the house? And so when I think about what this brother did, it's like America go to war and we praised the one that we call heroes, but the one that died. And that's we almost do that with King's family. What effect did that have on a child when somebody called, blow your house up, nigga, and you know you can't call nobody because they're the ones made the call. Coretta's holding two of the children. He's holding two. I wonder what it feels like to burn by another human being for nothing that you did. That look on your face that your children get to see that few parents' children ever looked at them and saw that. How were they affected? And so when we stop and think about this movement, never in the history of planet Earth has there been a movement like this. Well, thank you, Dr. King, and the Civil Rights Movement, the decent folks that was willing to die. I didn't know what a Christian soldier was. I don't think that means that much, but we sang it. Black folks sang, before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. They were singing that while they was picking cotton, man. While they was picking cotton, they sang that same song. And so what a thrill it is to be here, where it happened, where the world changed. Few people have done something and the world changed. When they hanged John Brown, 18 months later started the Civil War, and had they not hanged him, conditions wouldn't have changed. Soldiers, man, marching to do battle, singing, not God bless America, not America the beautiful, singing John Brown's body is a molded in the grave. Soldiers, not choir folks, soldiers with their guns ready to go tangle with the Southerners, singing John Brown's baby is a molded in the grave. One man. And then when they got ready to kill him, had children, Jesus was sent here to die for our sins, but he didn't have no children. John Brown did. And watched his two boys get killed. He was wounded when they patched him up. They put him on trial. Die, you nigger lover. And the word nigger, nigger When that decision was made, it wasn't one black person sitting in the room. Not one. Just woke up there and said, we don't use the word nigga no more. Uncle Tom is a shapeshifter. Tomboy is a tough girl. Tomcat's a tough cat. When it comes my turn, he gets weak. Gets weak. Why? Wait a minute. Huh? I look at this last past election. And a cat, I said it before, will turn the corner and see a dog and shapeshift. Know something's up there. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know. And so, the people that I listen to, I hope I said it earlier, Vice President Biden, today, so we said it yesterday, the people that voted for Trump is not racist. Man, you racist yourself. He wouldn't have said that had Obama talked that way. He wouldn't have called the people that support him, not whatever you call reverse racism. No, how come I can't hate you the same way you hate me? Why mine got to be reversed? So today, two things I want to leave you with. Put your fingers on your nose and laugh real hard. Now one day when you get by yourself, do that. Quiet your spirit and you see muscles move when you laugh. Those muscles will pinch other muscles and send an all down in you that will heal your body. That's why trillions of years they've been saying laughter is the best medicine. Now put your fingers there again and frown. Another set of muscles move and pinch another and drop acid in your body that destroys you. So we'll all get mad if you want to. Get mad at your children. Go to jail, I keep telling you this, where the murderers are. You don't hear that God cussing them out, calling them dirty names, but I can hear that when you talk to your children. So let's look at something for a minute. Get all the pictures of your children, just one at a time, from the time they was 1 to 8 years old. You don't see no hoes, no pimps, no cutthroats, no murderers, no haters. That happens after 8, and they learn it from you at home. What were they around? Those children was on hoes, pimps, hustlers. They learn it from you. They pick up your vibration, your nasty vibration they pick up. It ain't about love. Can you be lovable? If God wanted my hair straight, God would have made it straight like they do the Japanese, the Chinese, the Italians. And so somewhere, this day, and you know, thank you, man, because I hadn't thought about this until I'm sitting here talking about this great human being that starting tonight. St. Louis, he was killed at 5:03. East Coast is an hour ahead of us, so he was killed in 1803. That's the house I grew up in, 1803 North Taylor. You hear me? So at 1803, which would be 5:03 p.m., I'm starting me a fast. A fast. I'm 85. For the next 15 years. I will eat no solid food. No soda pops. No sweet. Let me tell you what I mean. Gargles baby food. They sell millions every hour. You know how long that stuff got to be in the warehouse? You can't fix it the same day. You know the stuff they got to put in it to preserve it? Huh? The universal God put this page. They had no rolls or sweet bread or sugar. That's us. Go to the church, man, and look at them crippled folks walking in there every Sunday. And go to the zoo and see if you see a crippled elephant. Some thug shot him. Go to the zoo, see elephant limp because their feet hurt. No, they don't wear shoes. God gave you ankle, kneecaps. If he wanted shoes, it would have been simple to have you with a pair of shoes on. Thank you. And you, man, don't wait for evil society to validate you. Your mother know who you are. That's mother. Everywhere you go, man, the government can gun you down. That's just another. You're a soldier. Soldier, man. Not evil, but against evil. That's where you are. And you'll be protected, man. I've always been listed in the phone book, never had a bodyguard. No, I need one. If I was stupid enough to believe my mother and father was my mother and father. I didn't come from her, I came through her. I looked at something one time, man. Live on this farm, man. So I came home, everybody had a strange look on their face. Because when you come into the circle, it's dusty. So they decided that they was gonna blacktop it. So I didn't even notice it. The attitude is so Leo, my wife said, when you gonna say something? I said, about what? They blacktopped that. Oh, I didn't even notice it. About a year later, now you know that blacktop and them rollers?
Right.
Come in, these holes. It's in the ground. I said, baby, I just drove around and these holes in the ground. See, that's the mushrooms that came up through the blacktop. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Came up. Not man, humans made it. You know how fragile a mushroom is? And so when you stop and think about the lies, see, vibrations can't lie. When you're into the spirit, even when they try to make it lie, it can't. Thunder and lightning, you know there wasn't no nuclear bomb. How'd you know? The vibrations. The vibrations told me. And so, somewhere, soldier. Those of you that listen, I see you in the street. And we think so low of ourselves because he taught us that. But here's all you got to do. White folk, listen. All you have to do is realize that no human being was ever put through what we were. No soldier cared a human being other than to fight for them. Slavery wasn't, you take me 5,000 miles away. So you kept me there and I was around people who talked like me. I was around people who had the same religion I had. You took me away from my mother. You sold her one place, sold me another, my brothers and sisters, my religion, and my language. How come you niggas talk such bad English? I learned my English from you, Massa. When I came here, I wasn't speaking nothing but pure Swahili. I talk English like this because I heard you say, go yonder, get that bell cotton, bring it over. Yeah, boy. I talk just like you. Go to England. Been over there 1,000 years, them Africans, and they talk just like the Queen. So as we leave you this day, it's hard to tell somebody that killed your mother or your father, cracked your son or daughter's head open with an axe. It's hard when you see that. And man, do me a favor so we meet again. There's some stats out here that talk about battered wives, spouse abuse. In America, 1 out of every 4 women have been beat up. Cops, 3 out of every 4. You can't walk around hitting people and dogging people and don't take it home. You can't step in dog do and go home and your family don't smell it. See how it works?
Yes, sir.
But where do you break the chain? And so somewhere, y'all want to be rich? How you get rich? My daddy, my mama's rich. Why? They made everything. So here's what you do. If you got a checking account, take a check out. If you haven't got one, draw a check. Ain't nothing but a piece of paper. That money ain't no money. You burn it, put it in the shop and cook it with the greens. So make you out a check on your father's and mother's bank account. Make you a check for $1.5 billion plus. Because you can't can't put a limit on God. $1.5 billion. Fold it up, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, or just put it somewhere. And then act like a billionaire, a decent one. The money will come. That check is good, as long as you don't take it to the bank. Check is good, as long as you don't take it to the bank. That's the universe. And so what we use king for is when people plant something, they put something in it to make the soil stronger. They sell that, man, at the store. You can put it in the and then that universal God. If it ain't got a seed in it, you're not supposed to eat it. You plant some cabbage, grow, you want some more, you got to plant again. You think God plants a new sun every day, a new moon, a new tree? Plant an apple tree, keeps growing, seeds, everything with seed in keeps coming. Keep coming. You want to plant again. And just get a picture of King. If you can get one where he's talking, look at that love, that kindness. Look at the love and the kindness. So man, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't need to bring nobody on that's evil to talk. It's not your job. Celebrities, you hear me, and be sure and let your mother hear this, y'all. I see the kindness in her last night. I feel something, man. I go to a city, I say, well, that look like my man Ron. It is. Hey, what you doing here? I've seen you come places, and I walk in the hotel. You there, man, 4 o'clock in the morning, waiting. Keep that up. Don't stop. Let NBC, all of them go to bed at night. Travel on them luxury to do a story that's going to be tampered with. Dan Rather, he was a punk news reporter for news company 40 miles outside of Dallas. So when they come up with the Zapruder film, and we'll discuss that next time.
Yes, sir.
Showing Kennedy getting shot from the front. So they said, well, the family would be too tormented. You run this. So we're going to pick somebody to be the pool reporter. And they picked Dan Rather, a little punk. And he lied. I'm talking about the one they fired. He lucky he's still alive.
Right.
Him lied.
Wow.
Okay. You go to bed every night, man. Edward R. Murrow and all of them knew stuff they wouldn't dare touch it. But you did.
Sure.
So one day, wherever you get, where the real God picks the one that should be picked, man. That those,
Yes, sir.
that them big dinners they have in the ward. So I say to you, man, and there's a bunch of others like you. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to do something in a country where thugs and hoodlums and pimps and gangsters, The Godfather, 5 movies that all of them won something and it made them heroes. Those was devil and evil folks that made them heroes. You don't have to depend on that. Whatever you need, the universe will give it to you.
Yes, sir.
Don't cry. Don't feel bad. Just do, man. I'm telling you, not because of me. I go all over, man. And people mention your name. Mention your name. Huh? That's what you bring to the table.
Yes, sir.
And everybody else got to leave. There's a handful of you out here. Not many women, but they're here. Down through history, but they're here. And so somewhere, one of the brilliant astronomers that ever lived, Grandma, let's folk can look at the planet and take the number off your birthday and tell you stuff. His name was Baumgarten, Arab.
Oh, okay.
And their law is never peep at your Death Star. You can do that, you know.
Okay.
But they say you're not supposed to. He figured it out, man. He's supposed to get head at 12 noon with a big rock falling on his head. Pow! We figured it out, and he told his woman, said, I'm going out to the desert tomorrow. Something's supposed to hit me at 12 noon in the head. She said, you can't get around it. I'm going to be in the middle of the desert. The Arabs, they face north and put their head down, touch the ground. Or eagles flying by with a big old turtle.
Wow.
Bigger than your car. And dropped it and cracked his head open. 12 noon. So when you look at the dinosaur, they can't tell you the story of the dinosaur. But you put it together, it's awesome. I ain't never seen a dinosaur doing nothing but standing next to their mountains fighting. I've never seen them make love, never seen them eating dinner, I've never seen them hunting, I ain't never seen them climb nothing. How they get up there? But they're bigger than the mountain, but they won't tell you trillions of years ago when the dinosaur was here, so was the butterfly.
Wow.
So was the turtle. I used to call King, turtle! When they said, what do you mean by that? Turtle. Hard on the outside, soft on the inside, and willing to stick your neck out. You have to go to Harvard, Yale. You have to do that. You have to be in the Vatican. Huh? Turtle. Still here. Dinosaur gone. They didn't even have, we can take pictures, all that stuff you see created on some machine. There's a book called Chaos. I'll have Leo pick it up, mail it to you. Talk about the butterfly syndrome. As we talk now, butterflies into Butterfly Park in Peking. As they flapping their wings, they determine what the weather gonna be like in New York City. Did you hear me?
I hear you, yes sir.
New York City. So all you fools and chumps out there. Do whatever you want to do. There's a universe. The sun rises and the sun go down. And when the sun go down, all shadows have to leave. When the sun come up, all darkness have to leave. Trump is nothing but a shadow. And when the sun go down, he disappears. So you out there, scared of him? Scared of a shadow? You live in a country that will go to another country with a flamethrower and burn another human being up. Like you cook pork chops. Somewhere. In the last story, we hear about Napoleon, but we never heard about how he got such a mighty army. It's the recruiter. If somebody don't bring them to me, I can't train them. It's the recruiter.
Right.
This recruiter back then was just as popular as he was. So they go out through the wilderness, no telephones, no addresses. They go out, this recruiter look for them, they're 90 years old. Wow. If they're 18, no, we can't use you. He's out there and he see this lumberjack, 102 years old, and he foamed at the mouth. Said, old timer, you know who I am, everybody know who you are. He said, I've never seen a specimen that looked like you. Got news for you. I have now recruited you for Napoleon's army. He said, oh, no. I don't believe in killing. He said, this is your country. Oh, no. I chop my timber, I pay my taxes. I want you gangbangers to hear what I'm fixing to say now. I was a gangbanger till I couldn't fight. I was a gangbanger till I was nervous. That's how I run so good. Gangbangers, listen. Everybody, listen. So the lumberjack said, oh, I couldn't. France is my country. I cut my timber, I pay my taxes. I don't kill. So eventually, the guy went crazy in front of all of his traveling partners to help him recruit when he picked them. He's embarrassed. So when he found out the guy meant it, he said, ready to find squad. I want you to hear this. Ready to find squad. Ready? Cluck, cluck. Aim. Cluck, cluck. Fire. And he looked into that old man's eyes and saw there's a person that can die more beautiful than can live. And rather than be outdone, he say, cease the order. Hit the branding irons. Heat them up. Said, you want to change your mind? No. So he put his hand on a tree stump and chopped his hand off. He said, now, whether you like it or not, oh, I'm sorry, branded an N in the center of his hand, said, whether you like it or not, you now belong to Napoleon. He got ready to walk away, but man pulled him back, took his side out, axe off, put his hand back on that tree stump and chopped his hand off, his own hand off. Said, whether you like it or not, I belong to nobody but the universal God that made me. That's how Napoleon ended up. The cat went crazy and left his northern flank open. One man with courage is the majority. Not looking for anything else. Not looking to be liked. Not looking. How many top news people around the world woke up making millions and they dead now, you still here? Death is so quick. Life, if you're not right, is agony. Agony. And so again, man, I just say it's a pleasure. It's a tribute to me that you found me, I didn't find you.
Yes, sir.
So anytime you feel bad, looking at TV and all the glamour, ain't glamour.
Right.
Go to the cocaine parties. I had Hattie McDowell, the first black woman to win an Academy Award. So a news guy was interviewed and said, how do you feel with all that talent? All you can do is play a maid. She said, I'd rather play one than be one. So I meet her after I hit big. Oh, Dick Gregory, oh, you so funny. Oh, God, I said, well, let me just say something. When I was a little boy, I saw Gone with the Wind, and I heard you say when the news person asked you, with your talent, how you feel, can get nothing but maid parts, and you said, I'd rather play one than be one. At that time, 98% of all black women in America were maids, including my mama, who ain't never came to a Hollywood party and snort coke and all the other stuff many of y'all do out here. Okay, my mama, she was one, but she didn't have to go through all them other changes. Okay, and so as you look around, see, next time you go to a restaurant and notice the folks say the blessing, they don't play for the whiskey and the wine. Just somebody tell them not to know, they know something wrong with it. And so again, just love, man, and just do what you do. And the person that make the sun come up and come down, they ain't got a nuclear bomb or a hydrogen bomb when a woman getting ready to have that baby and the legs open up. They don't have a bomb on the planet can stop that baby from coming. That's your boss. And when you understand that, and so again, a few minutes, it'll be the 49th anniversary of King. And when we get back together, we'll talk about Chicago gangs.
Jeff Ford, yeah.
Jeff Ford.
Yep.
And those of you that's listening, look up Stone, Clement Stone, one of the richest cats on the planet, insurance. He put money into Jeff Ford. The government put money, gave them grants. A guy named Fry, white minister, hid the guns in his church. all that's beginning to come out. So I just say, just pray that the truth comes out. Now, the great part about the real God, he didn't say, oh, God covered up so we can blame this on him. No. The truth come out. Let it happen. And may you and your family, man, stay blessed and keep picking up the knowledge and the vibration. The vibration. And people will start doing things and said, what do you think would happen if Ron heard about this? That's when you, top of your game, man. What would happen?
Yes, sir.
I love you, man, and thank you. And there's a lot of joy on this planet that you can find a way to laugh and smile on a day like this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Love you, man. Bible Gregory. Take care.